Well, hello there. Do you have children that balk at everything that you tell them to do? Or perhaps you have children who just dislike homeschooling? Well, if that sounds familiar, I want to encourage you that you are in the right place. I'm Dollie Freeman. I'm the host of the Charlotte Mason Way show. And today I have a topic that's going to help you rock those things and eliminate them altogether to get the endless friction out of your homeschooling and help you to secure those smoother and easier days. If that sounds exciting, I'm really excited to get started. Jump into the comments really quick and let me know that you're watching. Say hello for me and let me know if this is the first time you've been on the show. I'd like to welcome you. Hello, Sarita. Nice to have you here. This is a big topic today, one that I'm so excited about because it is truly the foundation to the Charlotte Mason education. So we need to get this right. So I'm glad that you're here. So while I'm doing this, hello, Amy. Nice to have you here as well. I want to encourage you guys that this show is something to follow, to watch, to interact, and more importantly, share. We homeschooling mamas need each other. So do your friends a favor and share this free training each and every week. Well, almost every week. Sometimes I take the week off, but I want to encourage you to share it with your friends. Tag them in the comments. Let them know what's going on if you think that they would be benefited by this type of method. All right, so we're going to be talking about a child's role in education. So I really want you guys to zone in the best that you can. And hello, Mary, glad that you're here because this particular topic today, a child's role in education, is what many people are missing. It's this very thing and what I shared last week. If you watched a teacher's role in education, then you will have both parts. But if you didn't watch last week's show, you're going to want to go back and rewatch that as well, because the two work together to create that foundation of your homeschool. And this is what's so important and is really missing in a lot of homeschooling. And that's why we homeschooling mamas deal with this endless friction. It needs to stop, you all. There is a way to get to those smoother and easier days. And I'm telling you, Charlotte Mason's going to do that for you. So thank you for sharing, Sarita. I appreciate that. Everyone needs to share so that their friends can grow with you. This method is something that's best when done with a community. It's hard to do it alone, especially in today's society where educational systems seem to be daunting to most of us, trying to make sure that we do all that we can to satisfy those requirements. And so it can be a very lonely road when you're doing it yourself. So that's why I want to encourage you to share. All right, so let's get started here. I want to get started with a quote that is going to make all of this make sense to you. And this quote is very popular. I am, I can, I ought, I will. Now, what I want you to understand is this quote is something that there's so much meaning behind this quote. There's truly the essence of the foundation to your child's role is in these simple and effective words. This is Charlotte Mason's student's motto that she had her children learn. And I'm going to kind of dive into this with you and let you kind of know more about what this means and how it plays a role in a child's requirements in education, and then how it couples with that teacher's role and how the two works together to create the smoother and easier days. So I hope you're ready. All right. So number one, I want you guys to understand that inside this quote, I call it the elliptical orbit because it's based off something Charlotte Mason calls as an elliptical orbit. And let me show you what those two things are. Authority and docility. Charlotte Mason said that these two things are, in essence, a child's elliptical orbit. So this may be the first time you've ever heard that term, and you might not know exactly what it means. I know the first time I read it, I didn't quite understand it, but once it became a full picture, then I understood how this I am, I can, I ought, I will motto works to create that child's role in education. So let's talk about this a little bit. In order for you to really understand what authority and docility is, you need to understand what they are and how they play a part in this whole aspect of a child's role of education. So when the authority of the elliptical role is not respected, a child can easily move into disobedience and rebellion. Okay, but when the two are perfectly together, think about the orbit in the galaxies and how we orbit the sun, the moon orbits. They stay in their orbit. And if anything were to go awry in those orbits, the world would be in a dire place, right? So I want you to start thinking about your orbit as a mom, as a homeschooling mama, a teacher, and that of your children. You have to stay within certain parameters in order for self-education to come into play. So a child has this authority and docility. So authority really means is a child needs to learn how to willingly obey. Now, don't let me lose you here, because I know this is one of the hardest things we as moms have to deal with. In fact, right now I'm dealing with delayed obedience with my 10-year-old. Delayed obedience actually leads to disobedience. And so this is something, it's not that he's not willing to obey, he's not willing to obey right now. And so these are something that we're working on in our home about making sure that the child's authority is in place, that the authority is in place and the fact that the child is willingly obeying. So there's a few things that we moms can do to actually affect a child's willingness to obey. First of all, we can actually give the child too much, and then they think that they don't have to obey us because we give them their every will. And we need to be careful about that. So what you need to understand is when we become, and I'm not trying to step on any toes because this used to be me, but when we become a threatening and, one of those parents that get quite angry pretty quickly, we're ruining our relationships with our children. They're not going to respect our authority and willingly obey if we're damaging our relationship with our children. Can I hear an ouch? Because I tell you what, when I learned that, it was an ouch. And some days I have those ouches still. But here's the important thing. Once you have those come into your relationship with your children, you need to ask forgiveness, you need to mend them, and you need to work not to have that happen again as best as that you can. So what we need to do as a parent is make sure that we're enabling and empowering our children for willful obedience. That means there has to be consistent consequences. There needs to be that authority role in place. So you need to be the authority in your home, but not one that rules and reigns with terror, that your children are obeying you with fear and not reverence. So that is the first part to this. And the second part is that in order for a child to willingly obey, they have to have what Charlotte Mason calls the way of the will and the way of reason. These two things work together. A child has to understand things. They need to reason in their mind as to what is important. And then they also have the way of the will. They need to learn how to actually come in charge of that will, that they're doing the things that they will themselves to do that are the right things, to secure the right things. And here's where we as parents oftentimes chip away at our own authority as we allow our children the ability to choose what they want them to do without securing that they've gone the right way. And in doing so, we're causing them to go the wrong way and harming our authority in the process. This is a really balancing act here, but this is really what's causing the endless friction in your homeschooling. So a child has to understand that in authority, he or she has this reasoning that they need to work on, and they also have their will to work on. And we need to do our best to secure that for them. We need to help them to understand that importance. And I wrote down something I'm looking for because I wanted to make sure it's within this elliptical orbit that the way of the reason and the way of the will are being formed. A child to choose to willingly obey while a parent rightly empowers a child to exercise their reason and will to make correct choices for themselves. That's our goal, correct choices. So a child must learn how to do the way they have the way of the reason in their mind, and they have the way of the will. They just need to discipline it so that it goes the right way. And only when a child has proven this secure the right way can we give the children the opportunity to use that under that docility, okay? And then the third thing is a child must practice their elliptical orbit while the parents practice theirs as well. So we need to give them a little bit of room to see if they're going to go the right way. We need to stop doing the do's and don'ts. We need to observe our children, and we need to be there. When they are making the right choices, praise them. And when they're making the wrong one, have constant consequences to help them not make them a second time. Right? This whole elliptical orbit is truly the essence of how two can work to create this whole atmosphere of the home, the discipline, and the life. It can really make a powerful experience in your homeschooling. And the faster you work on these two elliptical orbits, I'm telling you, Charlotte Mason mamas, you will secure those smoother and easier days. And the more endless friction you have in your home, I'm telling you, you are not in your elliptical orbit and the child's not in theirs. And so it's getting them aligned together, getting them to be working together, and putting that authority and docility in place inside your homeschool so that you both can thrive as a family in a homeschooling environment. All right, I'm going to get into the comments really quick. Sarita says, amen. I just learned that in a challenge I just completed. Well, good. I'm glad you learned that. And yes, that would be the same as listening to their conscience, correct? Yes. So part of the reason is their conscience. Part of their will is their conscience. Reason is helping them understand why they should do something. It's where the debate starts. It's understanding why certain things are certain ways. And when a child does that along with their will, then that whole elliptical orbit is put in place where they can go the right way. It takes some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's so well the work, because the more you focus on that, I'm telling you, right behind it comes the smoother and easier days. You're going to actually grow those character and conducts in your children that really make a difference. And then when you couple that with your right curriculum, that wholesome curriculum, you've really set your homeschool up for success. And since I just talked about that homeschool curriculum, I have an invitation for you that I really want to make sure that I give enough time. So starting on Monday, I am hosting the free Charlotte Mason Planning Bootcamp. This is going to be new content if you've ever gone through a workshop of mine. This is new content organized in a way that's going to help you transform or plan out and transform your homeschooling in a way that solidifies these important elliptical orbits that will help you to think about those character and conducts that you want your children to possess and be able to get rid of this endless friction in your homeschool and to bring them on board with what it is that you're trying to accomplish with self-education in your home. So let me put this in the comments, make it a little easier for those who are online, that you can go ahead and grab that. So it takes a process, but if we understand that each and every one of us are born persons, that each and every one of us has will and reason inside of us, and that we exercise that on a daily basis within our home, that is the securing of self-education. Without our child being able to have the reasoning and the will secured in their mind, without the authority and docility, without the I am, I can, I ought, I will, enforced in their actions and their habits, really are climbing uphill with a rock on your back. So once you actually put these in place and you secure them, you protect them, and you do all that you can to encourage and exercise them, I'm telling you, your children are going to be on that path to self-education faster than you realize. Okay, so if you have not joined the planning bootcamp yet, I really want to encourage you. The link is on the screen or it's in the comment. I encourage you to do so. There is a workbook that's going to help you learn and implement at the same time so that you can be planning your homeschooling. The things that are going to eliminate are, that overwhelm with your homeschooling is knowing how much or how little, when and how. All of those answers are inside the workshop, as well as the philosophies that will help guide you when you are doing your curriculum. So I hope to see you in the inside. So next week, I will not be having the weekly show. So I want to make sure that you actually, for the next 2 weeks, I'm taking off, one for the workshop and then one to rest a little bit. Workshops always take a lot out of me. So So I will be taking 2 weeks off, but when I come back, let's see, I always have to look at my calendars. So we're into July now. So July 22nd, I'm coming back on the Charlotte Mason show, and I'm going to be starting up a series that were very popular last summer. It's the curriculum chats. So this is something you do not want to miss. Each week, I'll be highlighting one living book that I have yet to show you, and will help you to understand some of those. So you're going to want to be watching out for the curriculum chats when I return on July 22nd. Until then, I hope to see you inside the boot camp where I can help you actually secure and plan those Charlotte Mason days better for yourself. Until then, bye for now.